around him. Josh Allen had his receiving core absolutely stripped from one year to the next. He went out there with a bunch of guys named Shakir, Keon Coleman, Mac Hollins. Barefoot Mac Hollins. Dalton Kincaid.
Catch the ball.
Won the MVP.
Okay.
Okay, he was able to make a lot out of less around him. Why couldn't Mahomes these last 2 years?
Mike, they won 2 Super Bowls in a row, bud. I mean, what are you doing here? What do you want me to tell you?
What I'm telling you is,
I think he's done a pretty good job. You have me over here. You have me over here advocating for the Chiefs. Like I'm going to bet for. I don't want to do this. I'm just telling you, he's not washed up. Let's just.
I didn't say he was washed up. I'm just saying.
He has to be peaked.
Has he peaked?
I would say to be continued here. We'll see what the next couple of years.
But you would have to,
what you're telling. You're making me do here.
You would have to say though, the last 2 years that the strength of this Chiefs team, the Chiefs are sold to everybody as Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, right? But these last 2 years, it's been the defense that has been the strength of this Chiefs team. In many respects, carrying Mahomes and the offense.
The defense has been really good.
I'm just calling it for what it is.
That's fine. I mean, I think Mahomes has played pretty well the last couple of years. I think he's made plays.
Oh, pretty well.
I think he's made plays
pretty well.
Well,
huh?
you talk. Well, he won 2 Super Bowls, and he made some plays down the stretch in those football games to win those games. So I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what.
Well,
I don't know what you want me to do here.
Stop defending and pumping up Patrick Mahomes when it's clear that he's not the same quarterback.
Well, okay.
Are you a Chiefs fan? Well, one texter. Wow, Stokley now sounds like a Chief fan.
Well, you're rubbing off on me, I guess. Your love of the Chiefs all year long.
They went 15-2, Evans. Mahomes is awful. Shake my head emoji. I didn't say he was awful.
That's kind of what you're
I didn't say he's. I just
to.
said, has he peaked? And the last 2 years would suggest we might be seeing some peaking going on with him. And please don't use the excuse, well, he just doesn't have enough weapons around him. Josh Allen had even less around him.
And he
won the MVP.
Okay, well, what did his team do? When was the last time Josh Allen played in a Super Bowl? I'm just, guy plays and he has a terrible game. Well, they were ready to bury Mahomes a few years ago after that Tampa Bay game in the Super Bowl. They bounced back pretty well. So, next time we see Josh Allen in the Super Bowl will be the first time we see Josh Allen in the Super Bowl.
Let me go at it this way then.
You're just going with stats.
No,
stats
I'm going eye test. I'm going eye test.
Really? Eye test.
Eye test. You look at the eye test with Patrick Mahomes, you see the same quarterback that you saw 4 years ago.
I still see a very good quarterback. Very good quarterback.
Wait a minute.
Lost
very
one game.
Good.
Lost
Last week, people were trying to make him out to be the GOAT.
Well, not me. Not me.
I don't know. Secretly, I think you feel that way.
He's had a pretty good start to his career.
Well, yes, he's had a very good start to his career. I'm just saying that his level of play the last 2 years hasn't been to the Patrick Mahomes level that we've come. No,
they won a Super Bowl the last 2 years, and this year they got to a Super Bowl. So
Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl in 2015, and he wasn't Peyton Manning anymore.
Watch him
they
out.
still won.
Be careful. Just don't. That's crossing the line.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got a little heated. Got a little emotional. Sorry. Thank you for.
Can we talk? I'm done talking about Mahomes.
Oh.
I'm
done.
Done.
Can I ask you one last question? One last question.
One
last question.
Okay, all right. Fair.
One last question.
We'll go back to car washes.
Then we'll go back to car washes. One last question. If you were starting a team right now and you had your choice,
okay,
both guys where they are in their careers right now, would you take Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes?
Right now,
moving forward.
And Mahomes, how old are they? Can you give me their ages just so I?
Well,
the one thing that
Allen was drafted in 2018 and Mahomes was drafted 2017.
Okay, so
they're very close.
The one concern with Josh Allen is the wear and tear on his body. I mean, he's run the ball a lot, and
seems invincible.
Well, you know who else seemed invincible, Mike?
Who?
Cam Newton.
True.
Okay, and what happened to him? he fell off the face of the earth after the Super Bowl. After that year, he just wasn't the same player. That first game of the next year, all those hits, he just was never the same player after that. So I worry about that with a guy like Josh Allen, who has been Superman for them and has done so much. I'm gonna still take Mahomes.
Okay.
I'm gonna still take it's close. I mean, both are. Mahomes is one on the biggest stage, and you can't replace that. There's a price tag for that.
Allen's 28, Mahomes is 29.
Okay.
So,
I'm going to take Mahomes.
Okay. Mark Schlereth joins us now. Good morning, Stink.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Oh, thank the heavens for you, Mark. Oh, my gosh.
I got
he
Stoke.
is wearing me out today,
I got
Mark.
Stoke on the run
Holy
right now.
cow. I'm not on the run.
Totally on the run. Man, you should play. You should play cornerback with your ability to backtrack. Fluid hips.
I have heard a lot of this conversation. You're right. Cam Newton, Stoke, to your point, he did fall off the face of the earth. Then he showed back up with a big, giant, goofy hat on. So, anyhow.
Mark,
yeah,
I just got to tell you. So Evans is over here. This is what he's doing, okay? He is bashing Patrick Mahomes, and he's looking at the stats, and I got to advocate for the guy. I'm sorry, I still think he's a pretty good quarterback, but he's looking at his stats and he's saying, has he peaked? And I would just say, let's be careful with just looking at stats and saying that this guy has peaked, and we're not going to see great football from him moving forward at all. And so I just bring up some of the facts about some of the people he has around him at the skill position. And they have, I don't know if Evans remembered this or not, they have won 2 out of the last 3 Super Bowls and been there 3 years in a row. But he's acting like Mahomes is just put him with the rest of the quarterbacks.
Can I make my case now? Can I make my rebuttal and then Stink can have at it?
Go ahead.
So
Mommy and Daddy are fighting.
Okay.
Mommy and Daddy are fighting. I am like the what do you a moderator or
mediator?
Mediator.
Yeah.
I'm like the marriage counselor here. Go ahead.
So
okay.
my point is that yes, the stats. I am using the stats. He's coming off a career worst year in pretty much every major quarterback category, and if you look at his last 2 years, his numbers have declined from where they were previously 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. So that's the number test. I'd also suggest that the eye test tells you that Mahomes and this offense not nearly as explosive as it once was. And yes, while the Chiefs have had overwhelming success, I'm here to say that success has been driven and carried by the defense. And that these last 2 years, the Kansas City Chiefs defense is the undeniable strength of this team, and they have helped carry Mahomes, Kelsey, Reed, and the offense. I do not say that Patrick Mahomes is washed up, but I am raising the question, has he peaked? Now, you've heard both sides. Judge, Your Honor, your ruling.
Yeah, I would say that I rule with Brandon Stokley. Brandon Stokley, because you know what? I'm an advocate for the husband. And you made a you made a wife argument there. And
wow. I hope Mrs. S
it was just bad. It was just
I
bad.
hope Mrs. S is listening right now.
Man, it was just bad. It was bad. You're like, some of it, and I appreciate it. Some of it's wishful. Like you're hoping that Mahomes is bad so the Broncos can start their reign of dominance over the Kansas City Chiefs. And listen, he hasn't been as good simply because they've gone to 3 straight Super Bowls. They have been picked through. They have lost offensive talent. They haven't found the combination of receivers. They had no running game to speak of. They picked up Hunt in late September, early October off the scrap pile. He didn't have a job. Pacheco came back from a broken leg 3 months into it and was not the same player. Like, there are reasons that he hasn't been as good. The year before last, they led the league in drops. There's been a reason, Mike. It's not that he's washed. It's not that he can't play. It's other guys around him. They have suffered, significant losses, whether it be injury, whether it be, performance related, whatever the case may be. And this year in the Super Bowl, even though they went 15-1 leading up to the last game of the season, even this year in the Super Bowl, all those he couldn't cover those warts anymore in the Super Bowl against a superior football team.
Mike, I want you to go back and look at your idol, Tom Brady, and see how many defenses carried him early in his career and how many great defenses he had that really helped him win and get to the number he's at. So he wasn't carrying those football teams. So that's part of it. You know, you play within your system and you try to win football games. And that's what I do appreciate about Mahomes. He's not about the stats. He doesn't care about the stats. And he doesn't care about all the other stuff. He's just trying to win football games. So I do appreciate that about him. And we'll see what it looks like moving forward. I mean, do you think they're done as the big dog in the AFC?
I think that unless they do some major renovations on what they've got right now,
I mean,
then the gap's closing between the rest of the AFC and the Chiefs and the rest of the AFC West and the Chiefs. Yes.
Do you think they're done as the top dog?
As the top dog
in the AFC?
Let's just
window's
say
definitely closing, right?
Yeah, the window's closing. The gap is closing. Absolutely.
Here's what I would suggest.
Well, I could have told
Mike,
you that.
I
I get it. I just watched the game last night.
You could just say that was just a.
But
the Eagles were just superior.
But do you think that someone's going to be one of these other teams? Buffalo, Baltimore, Denver. Who knows? Do you think one of those teams is going to be the big dog and be the number one seed in the AFC?
Okay, I'll put it this way. You're going to give me the AFC, the field versus the Chiefs next year? Yeah, give me the field.
Yeah.
Give me the field. You?
I would say that also.
Yeah, it would be a great exercise, Mike. I just thought about this. And I think this would be great. Stoke, you tell me what your opinion. I want to hear Stoke's opinion first. But here's what I would suggest. Mike, you go back and look at every snap that Patrick Mahomes played in 2018, 2019, and 2020 and juxtapose it in every snap that he played in 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. And if you could come back to me tomorrow with a Telestrator Wednesday on that, it would be awesome.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't have the Exos Thundercloud. I don't have the Exos Thundercloud to do it.
Really? No, I do, but I think, it's hard to do anyway to have the sustained success that they've had and play as long as they played throughout the course of the season, and it shortens your off season, et cetera, et cetera. And then you got free agency. You guys are going to be handpicking a lot of your guys because you've had a lot of success. So it's a hard thing to do. I definitely would take the field though in the AFC. They don't feel like the same team that they did, 3-4 years ago.
All right. So just very quickly, if you were starting a team today and you could have your choice of either one where they are right now in their present stage of their careers and what you are projecting moving forward, would you take Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes?
I said Mahomes. Mark?
I'd take Allen.
I'd take Mahomes.
Okay. All right. We shall see how this plays out. Let us move over to something that we can all agree on. Let's move on to something we can all agree on.
Jokic.
No. Our disdain for one Russell Wilson.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. I like this topic.
Okay. First of all, let's start with Diana Rossini, who's on with your guy Colin Cowherd, talking about Russ's very, very uncertain, shaky future with the Steelers.
Those conversations they started to happen at the end of their season. They decided, all right, we're going to probably most likely stick with Justin Fields here moving forward. Just knowing that for Russell Wilson, I don't think it was the perfect fit. I think it was a great move by Mike Tomlin and the Steelers organization to take a chance on him, see what we got.
He was free.
And then we saw so much success out of it, and there were blips of it. But I think in the end, with who they want to be and the identity, all the reasons that we thought it was strange almost came to light now. Like the reasons why we were giving them a hard time initially of why would they bring Russ on? Or why, they're going to start Russell Wilson. Remember, we were all confused by that. It was Justin Fields has got this talent. They can do so much more with him. He's so much more mobile. In the end, though, I think that all came back, and now this is going to be a clean slate for them as they make a decision moving forward. But I think Justin Fields is going to be one that they keep on this roster.
And how about this, guys? A Steeler reporter put out a piece saying, quote, "I'm here to state as firmly as I possibly can that this nonsense that's been put out about how Russell Wilson was suddenly handcuffed by offensive coordinator Arthur Smith after a strong showing in Cincinnati was exactly that, meaning nonsense. Absolutely nothing had changed about Smith's approach in the options he offers to quarterbacks, whether it be Wilson or Justin Fields, and nothing sure was about to change after Wilson ran up 44 points against the Bengals. But I'm told that Wilson's agents, part of his enormous entourage, put forth that narrative, and they did so in an apparent attempt to either preserve his status in Pittsburgh or enhance the chance that another team might want him as a starter." Wow. The more things change, the more they stay the same, Mark Schlereth.
Did he call a meeting with the ownership over there, the Rooney family, and demand that Mike Tomlin and the general manager get fired too?
Like he did in Seattle.
Yeah, like he did. It's just a clown show. Just an absolute clown. Stop.
It's all about Russ.
It is all about Russ, right? Oh, the narrative. That's like the let Russ cook narrative. Pete Carroll's holding me back. Oh, Arthur Smith has got it against me. Nobody wants me to win. It's time for him just to go.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this story before. We saw it here. We had people in Seattle warn us after the trade about Russ, but we saw it here. And when they knew things were ending, they start the smear campaign on everyone else. Look over here, look over. They just start throwing things out there. The Broncos organization, they did us dirty. They threatened us. Sean Payton threatened to bench Russ if he didn't agree to restructure his contract, take a pay cut. That was illegal. We're going to call the NFLPA. So they're just they do all these and say all these different things, so you don't really look at Russ and ask, well, what's wrong with him? Why does no one want him anymore? And that's what they're doing now in Pittsburgh. So, but he's running out of opportunities. I don't know if there's going to be another spot for him, obviously, to be the starter going into it. But, does he have an opportunity out there somewhere to compete for a job, to be a starter? Or is he just going to have to go and be a backup? And is he willing to do that? I mean, those are the questions right now. So there's not a lot of great spots for him to land. I mean, the Raiders, no. I mean, Pete Carroll's not going to want him back. So you look at 3 or 4 different teams out there, and that's about it for him, Mark.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I mean, the Roosters are coming home to hatch Billy Boucher or whatever, Bobby Boucher. So yeah, I'm 100% with you. I mean, at some point, your shenanigans are going to cost you opportunities, and I certainly think that's where we are right now with Russell Wilson. And will Russell Wilson allow himself to be a backup? Will Russell Wilson allow himself to do that? I don't know.
What do you think,
I don't know
Mark?
what the answer to that is.
What do you think? What's your best guess?
My best guess is no. My best guess is he thinks he still thinks he's the cat's pajamas, so that's my guess. And I just don't. I look at him, and I would think at some point, do you really want that in your organization? I get it if you're bridging to you're gonna eventually start a second rounder that you drafted last year, and you need a bridge for 5 or 6 games, or maybe you need a bridge because you take a quarterback in the first round that is not quite ready to play. But eventually, that's what he is. He's a bridge quarterback. That's all. I think that's what he is now.
Right. But here's the problem with that, Mark. He's not the veteran quarterback that a young guy can just learn from. Right? I mean, that's not his strength. His strength isn't, knowing the offense, reading defenses, going through your reads and your progressions. That's not what he does. And so that's what you want your young quarterback to do and to learn. So it's not like he's going to be a great resource for a young quarterback that you're trying to develop, because that's not his style of football. That's not where he excels. So I don't know if I'm an organization and I drafted Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, do I want my backup veteran quarterback to be Russell Wilson, or would you rather it be, a Jared Stidham type of quarterback, a guy that's played a little bit, but a guy that's very smart and a guy that knows how to read defenses and go through his progressions. I'd rather that guy around my young quarterback.
Yeah, you can't have a backup quarterback who you suspect is, behind the scenes, secretly sticking knives in your back.
Right.
A2,
Russ.
A2 Rusties.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
Tough
boy,
time for
you what,
Marilat.
Yeah, for all the
I tell you
Rusties.
what, I just wish look. Could you imagine if the Broncos had Russ and Bowers and $20 million?
Darnell Mooney.
Oh, it would have been Mooney. That's right. Oh my. Is the article coming out?
We probably would have won maybe 8 games this year. It would have been great.
Yeah.
I know that some of you are like, oh, Russ living rent-free in your head. Move on. Nope, not going to do it. Nope.
Sorry.
Nope, no, there's been too much debate, too many arguments, too many people insisting that Sean Payton got this horribly wrong to not sit back and actually kind of enjoy this a little bit. So
that was a long segment, but it ended so nicely.
It did.
We had